All right, friends, it's another Sunday night. That means it is another man event, and we have a full crew tonight checking in for their part-time jobs. We have TSG, Pooh Bear, the Chief, I Am Beloved, the Lightning cruise to the next round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Rays continue to stay hot. You can't fix stupid. COVID on cruise ships, and we got a special segment from our friend Chef Javi. Hey, we're not live, but we still won't suck. This is the man event.
Why?
We're not live tonight because I am on vacation. Beloved and I are on vacation.
I do not have a cowboy hat, though.
You need a cowboy hat, dude. It's 115 degrees when we're going.
I guess I got till tomorrow to secure me a cowboy hat, but I do have an authentic belt buckle.
Nice.
And I plan to be wearing that. So so the other good news about us not being live tonight is Pat apparently doesn't have power where he's at. So that's why he's sitting in the dark.
Hey, I feel since we're going to Vegas, let's take some odds on how long his battery lasts on his computer and when he's out of the show.
Well, what if Atlanta power is quicker than Tampa power?
It's not.
I doubt it.
I've been to Atlanta.
I doubt it. It's not looking good. I'm not even getting any flickers here. Nothing.
I put him out before Can't Fix Stupid section.
All right. So TSG might have a limited appearance on this evening's show. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Again, pre-recorded show. We're not live. But if you do send us some comments from the show, somebody will eventually get back to you.
That's right. We answer every single comment because we only get like one.
Yeah, because it just won't be during the show. So, hey, but Chief, I will say, since we're going to be in Vegas, maybe we can put some odds on your Tampa Bay Lightning.
Dude, I would not bet against the Lightning right now, my man. Those guys, they are looking. I was going to say that they look hot, but they play on ice, so maybe they look cold. Is that the right thing to say? They look good. Let's put it that way.
They're kicking ice.
They're kicking ice. I like it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
They are, man.
Advanced to the Eastern Conference semifinal or Eastern Conference finals against the Islanders.
Yeah, who saw that coming? We thought Jeff, who was commenting on the show last week, he thought it was the Bruins. He was pretty solid on that one.
Yeah, that was John. But yeah.
Sorry, John. Yeah.
John Jones.
One of the Jays.
Yeah.
So and the Lightning ejected them from the playoffs last season. But this does not look like the same Islander team, does it, TSG?
No, it doesn't. That matchup they had last year, they were a pretty defensive team. This is a different team this year. They may have lost Boychuk and their captain, but they added a couple of really good players this year, and they've got more firepower. So, we beat them 4-2 last year. It was 3-2 going into that game, so it could have easily jumped to a 3-3 and been a little scarier. But it went to we beat them 4-2. And but like I said, they've got scoring power this year. They beat Boston in the same amount of games I believe we beat Boston. Boston's they're a one-line team, but that is phenomenal. And you know how petty they can be, and they beat them in 6 games. So Tampa Bay has got their hands full.
Starting to lose you a little bit, TSG. But yeah, this series could definitely go 7 games. No problem. I mean, obviously the Lightning don't want it to go that. They'd like to close it out as soon as possible. But
I don't ever like 7-game series as any.
No, that 7th game is always so tense.
Yeah, so stressful.
And if I remember right, that schedule that would be that was the 7th game would be on the weekend if necessary. So that's
So at this point, this series doesn't kick off until Sunday, which the good news in that is our boys get some rest. They haven't skated, since Tuesday night. So, they're going to get a lot of good rest, which I'm sure that they need, whereas, the Islanders are coming off of a tough series against the Bruins. So, I'm sure we got a little bit more to add about this upcoming series, but did you guys by any chance catch this dude from the Hurricanes, Doogie, by the way? His name is Doogie Hamilton. He says that the Hurricanes got beat by a team $18 million over the salary cap. Is he a sore loser? Okay.
Sour grapes.
How about he doesn't? If he had something to say it before the series. Don't say it after you lose.
Right.
Say it before the series. And the reality of it is, we follow the rules. The Lightning follow the rules. They don't like it. It is what it is.
Right. It's not like they went to Europe and picked up some player off of a team. He was already on the roster, so
he just hadn't played. Yeah.
Right. He was injured. And like you just said, the rule was that if the player is not available for the any length of time, the team is not responsible for the salary, or that salary is not held against the salary cap.
Salary cap.
So were there some, backdoor dealings about keeping Kucherov on the back shelf until the playoffs? Probably, but it was within the rules. They didn't break any rule, and again, he is a rostered player. It's not like they.
So you're saying keeping Kucherov out of the lineup, like closer to the end of the season, could have been strategic.
Oh, it definitely was strategic.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would. Yeah, I don't think the general manager or Brees Ball or anybody would make a bones about that. They knew what they were doing. Kucherov was ready probably 2 months ago, but they intentionally held him back in order to avoid paying that. Because if they did, the truth of the matter is, had they went ahead and activated him and put him in on the day-to-day roster, somebody would have had to gone down, probably multiple people, because of the salary cap issue. His salary cap would have been probably 4 players. So
wow.
That's how tough this was.
The thing was, that the Players Association approved his rehab time and when he was going to be coming back. So, that's they played by the rules. Yeah.
Yeah. So
what
it wasn't like he had
although it sounds like there's maybe some gray issues, it's well within the rules, and there were checks and balances in place to make sure that still happened. TSG, you were breaking up a little bit on us. I think you were getting into a little bit more of a breakdown on that series we just finished and some things that you're seeing with an unexpected line.
Yeah. So that fourth line, Braden Point, Ross Colton, our NASCAR guy.
Boogity.
Yeah, and Pat Maroon. These guys had a great game. The fourth line contributed so much that at the end of the game, they turned around and asked if they were going to be going in. Do you want us to go in? And he said, yeah, I want you to go in. And sure enough, that's when they scored the goal. He had a lot of trust in them because they had been really dominating that fourth line. And Ross Colton found some open space in that net. And I think the goalie thought that he was going to pass it. And he just said, well, if you're going to give me that chunk, I'm going to take it. And, man, he put it right in there, right over the left shoulder above the glove.
And that goal was kind of at a turning point in the game.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was the dagger.
Yeah, there was definitely pressure by the Hurricanes at that point. They were trying to tie it up with an equalizer goal, but that fourth line, like Pat was just saying, just overpowered their fourth line, and they were really pushing, in their own offensive zone. They were pushing hard, trying to get that, and they just got cherry picked. Colton stole the puck in the neutral zone and slow dragged it in there. He, like you just said, like TSG was just saying about, he made the goalie think he was going to pass. He just dragged it. He just held on until he had to commit because he was so close, and then just wham. He just NASCAR'd in there on turn 3.
Yeah. It was exactly what it was.
Chief was over here watching the game with me. I went into full NASCAR sponsorship mode after the interview with him. I was like, yeah, look, thank Goodyear tires for getting that in there, and Chevrolet, and good old Mark Furman Chevrolet. Mom and Daddy cornbread and biscuits in them.
What a
Oh,
great
man.
name, man!
Oh.
What a
I
jolt
do-
of energy this new guy has put in that it's
Heck
given
yeah.
to the Lightning. You know, he's really infused that fourth line. And Johnson was relatively quiet, but he'd been coming on strong the last. At least I'd noticed that he had been really
Yeah.
coming on strong in the last couple of games, and then he finally these guys really
Yeah.
made their mark.
He's doing the little things. It's not showing up in the stat sheets. He's not getting the
Right.
assists and the goals, but he's still staying positive. He is getting a lot of turnovers and forcing errors, which is nice to see.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
All
know,
right. So what are y'all? Go ahead, Chief.
I just want to say, I think we are going to see a change next year in the hockey. We're going to see one or two things are going to happen. Either A, the rule is going to get changed, or more than likely B, we're going to see teams trying to capitalize on kind of the loophole that we used this year. I was going to say we exploited it, but that sounds bad for when I'm rooting for the team. So one of those two things is going to happen in the future. Teams are going to start to do this more and more, or the rule will get changed.
Well, unfortunately for the
think-
Lightning, this team is not going to be the same next season. They were similar to the Bucs situation. We were all familiar with that, where they were able to sign every free agent. Tom Brady took less money in order to get it done. There was a lot of upfront money. Looking at contracts, changing the Lightning are going to have to do the same, or some of these players are going to have to go and walk and go somewhere else.
Yeah. Something's got to give somewhere there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
And Chiefs
Oh,
right. They're going to have to do something about this, or these teams are going to be bringing on a big player, and then putting them out for a month or so,
But
and
like
then
you
bringing
said,
them in.
the union's going to have to agree that their injury is actual. You can't just come in here with a twisted
Right.
finger and say, "Oh, I can't play," and
Yeah.
sit
Right.
on the sidelines. And plus,
Well, we
players
also
aren't
got to
gonna want
remember. You also got to remember Kucherov didn't play the entire season. He went out right
Correct.
before the
Yeah.
season started. So, if you're willing to let your superstar not play an entire season,
Right.
I think for the Lightning having kind of already wrapped up a playoff berth, it was no big deal to let him sit out an additional 4 weeks. And if you remember at the time, because of the shortened season and the way we were doing things, instead of playing 4 or 5 games a week, they were playing 2.
Right.
So it was just a different season. Chief, you're right. There's probably some changes that come out of it, but one of the big things is I don't know that teams will be able to take advantage of this on a full hockey season, on a non-COVID hockey season.
Yeah, it was definitely a unique situation.
All right. So, hey, listen, the Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Say it again.
started the
So good.
Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, started some off-season workouts this week. Our guy, the GOAT, Mr. Tom Brady, he had off-season knee surgery literally right after the Super Bowl. And, originally they weren't expecting to see him except in light duty for a little while. This guy came out gunslinging first day of camp. What are y'all's thoughts?
If he's ready, he's ready.
Right.
This is why he's there, and I think that just shows his work ethic. He's the guy who sets the bar for the rest of the team, and that's as much of a talent as he is. I think his work ethic is what brought this entire team together. Everybody else said, "Hey, I got to step up too." If the old man can do it, and I do mean old man, the rest of us have got to do it. So he's out there on day one as a true leader, leading by example. It's got him going, and I'm glad to see it.
Did you see the report?
22.
Did you see the report this week that came out, said that the day after the Super Bowl, he FaceTimes Clyde Christensen, who's the quarterback coach, and says, "Hey, I think we could have played better, and I think our best football is in front of us."
I didn't see that. That's amazing.
This is the day after the Super Bowl. He's FaceTiming his quarterback coach and talking about what they can do to have a better season next year.
I mean,
That's the work ethic.
And the mentality. That's the mentality someone like him has to have.
It's like
On days
I'm
after
in
the Super Bowl,
sales.
he thought that trophy could float on water too. So
Well, listen,
Yeah,
maybe Tom's can. He just levitates. It's a little bit like Jedi mind tricks. But listen, I'm in sales, and so the part I get about that is like, hey, you're only as good as last month. Like you could have been, you could have set the company record for revenue in December or January, and then in February, like you could get fired for putting up a bagel, and that's how it goes. So I get that. I love it.
One of the added elements that you get with Tom Brady is that nobody wants to disappoint Tom Brady.
No.
Right.
Nobody. So they come to the table, they come every day prepared and just, ready to go, because you disappoint Tom, you get on his lipstick list.
Yeah.
And
That's one of those intangibles you just can't account for.
Listen, TSG, to your point, I think he makes the defense better.
Oh, he absolutely makes he absolutely makes defense better.
And that's the difference between a Tom Brady and someone like Aaron Rodgers. Look at what he's doing right now to the Packers. That's pathetic.
Yeah.
Pathetic. They have no direction. They have no idea what to do.
Well, they still don't know whether he intends on coming to camp or not.
Well, right. So if you're a wide receiver, an offensive lineman, a backup punter, what incentive do you have? If the MVP from last year, arguably definitely the best player on your team, is complaining and moaning about who knows what, because he's not specific at all, and he's not coming to work. What incentive do you have other than your internal pride just to make sure you don't lose your job? This team was in the NFC Championship game. Had it not been for an amazing Buccaneers defensive performance, they would have been in the Super Bowl. And this is what you're looking at in the preseason. Absolutely pathetic.
I believe that they also made some poor coaching decisions. I believe in that fourth quarter.
Sure, absolutely.
Who went for the field goal?
When they lined up for that field goal, we were all high-fiving each other.
Absolutely.
It was over.
But to Pooh Bear's point, what he's saying, and I agree with you, Pooh Bear. What he's saying is, for example, Tom Brady, a couple years when they had drafted his replacement in Garoppolo, was a little butthurt, right? But he handled it in a different way. He went straight to the owner and got his way. So, but he didn't make it public. He showed up. He still did his job. They came back. I believe they won the Super Bowl the next year. And he just handled it totally different, where it doesn't, you can continue to play, you can continue to be effective. And that's the difference between these two guys.
The Bucs have a situation right now where we have kind of a similar yet different situation. We got a guy who wants to come play. He wants to play, and he cannot. He went to the Navy Academy. He's a captain on their football team, safety. Talking about Cameron Kinley, and he petitioned the Navy, and the Secretary of the Navy said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, you're going to have to fulfill your obligations with the Navy before you can do the NFL." And I think this is something that we can talk about. He took a full ride to the Navy. The Navy, you understand when you sign up with the Navy, you sign up for 6 years active duty. It's an Ivy League, prestige, not Ivy League, but it's obviously a prestigious degree. It's worth $100,000 a year, so you are getting, a great opportunity. Now, some guys, you're getting great education, not just that, but it's more than just education. I mean, when you get that pedigree that goes with it, you say that you went to Annapolis, and that thing's hanging on your wall or on your resume, that gets the attention that, someone that's got one from Flagler that doesn't receive.
No, agreed. So, and if people aren't familiar with the situation, but he was a standout player for the Navy, cornerback, president of his class. I don't know what other accolades he might have. I think he was the valedictorian.
Dude is an amazing. I mean, he has the position, so to speak, comes across as an amazing leader. I don't know anything about his leadership skills, but yes, class president, captain of the football team. Obviously good enough to get signed as an undrafted free agent.
And as tradition, when you graduate from Naval Academy and you have NFL caliber talent or NBA caliber talent, or I'm assuming Major League Baseball caliber talent, they usually allow you to go and play for the team. Roger Staubach, the Admiral David Robinson. There's been,
I believe the Admiral did his 2 years.
He did. It was a different kind of service. I think me and Chief looked it up the other day. It was more of a I'm clocked in, but I'm not clocked in.
That's exactly what he was too tall. He was a submariner. That's what they trained him for. But yet he was too tall. He was 6'6" is as tall as you can be. So I guess I'm qualified for sub.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're not. I'm.
Chief, do you fit? You fit for the height, but do you fit down the hallway?
Well,
With the shoulder
shoulders
tight.
are a little bit. I have to sort of turn sideways to get the shoulders down the hallway. I assume that's
Whoa!
Yeah,
It's stalking him a little bit.
That's your move. But David Robinson, he did his time as a civil engineer, which I'm really not sure what that means. But they did allow him to. They didn't allow him to play in the NBA. They did, however, allow him to play in the Olympics. So
Right.
A little different there.
There was concessions made. Essentially.
There were concessions made, absolutely.
And our cornerback, this guy, he went through all the proper channels, filed the proper paperwork, submitted it, and from what he's saying, there's no way to verify this, but his official statement says that there were other people from his class that also applied and were granted permission to play in the NFL. He was one of the only ones who was held back or made to fulfill their commitment. So it's a very interesting situation as to why this is happening to him at this point in time.
The thing that I'll say to that is, I think that, listen, every athlete goes through diminishing skills, right? As you get older. And I think that it doesn't matter whether you're an athlete or a mechanic or whatever it is that your trade is, right? If you're not actively doing it, you're kind of losing pace with everybody else. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Right. I think that's especially hard in football. Well, now the Admiral, listen, the Admiral was in the NBA back when I used to actually watch the NBA. So the guy's a legit Hall of Famer, won a bunch of rings, did some great things in the NBA, but I think that sport, it's a little bit easier to pick up and play again after 2 years than an NFL cornerback.
Probably, especially at the center position, it's a little less nuanced. It's kind of the center play today is very similar to the center play 40 years ago in the NBA. So, but from his skill, as far as his muscle build, his ability to recover, all that stuff is very limited. But there's part of me that says, hey, you signed on to be in the Navy. And they invested a lot of money in you. All the taxpayers paid for that. All four of us paid for him to go to this school. You got to do your time there too. So
my question is, if they let him go to the NFL and then he blows out an MCL, ACL, or whatever, has a crippling injury, and now he's no longer fit for duty for the Navy either. Is there a compromise where the Navy says, look, if you go, you're going to have to pay restitution for this. And here's the cost of your education at a minimum. But, the other thing is, it's more than just the cost of the education, because those are limited spots. Those service schools, those service academies are not very large, so they invest in you. They said, we chose you out of everybody else, and we expect you we train you, we educate you, because it's more than just education. While these guys are in school, every year they're participating in other stuff. So, my father-in-law taught at West Point, so I have, some knowledge of West Point, where, these guys are doing airborne school in their off season. They're doing Ranger school. They're doing all kinds of other, stuff, survival tactics, eating bugs in the woods and stuff like that, that regular college students are not doing. So they're coming out of there not just educated, but they're coming out in West Point. I'm going to say they're coming out as educated soldiers. So it's more than just the education.
Well, I think too at West Point, they're going to come out with a 4-year degree, which will get them a commission, right?
Yes.
And so most of those students who go to Navy are probably intending to be career Navymen or women, Navymen or women, right? Service people. I don't
Naval officers.
Whatever. I said it wrong all many ways, but yes. So I think, that's that too. Like, I understand to your point, like they are anticipating these men and women putting in 20 years of service.
Assets.
Yes.
They're not just position fillers. They are assets.
And especially a guy who was president of his class, captain of the football team, he's probably going to duplicate that behavior as an officer right, and move through the ranks probably quicker than most.
Yeah, most likely he has every
Based on his track. Based on his track record, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's no guarantee he was going to make the Buccaneers roster. I mean, he wasn't drafted. He was a free agent signing.
Well, I mean, there may be a lot of teams out there, Pooh Bear, that didn't draft him because they didn't want to have to deal with the possibility he's got to.
That's a potential. You're 100% right on that. But again, I don't think a team would have worried about even drafting or signing him if they didn't feel that this petition was going to go through. Probably because they go through all the time, right? So that's probably why he got signed, is because this is more of a formality than it is a likelihood of not happening. So it's very interesting. We'll have to see what happens.
Chief, with your military experience, where in the line, who makes that who makes that decision in the Navy there? Where does it go to where the guy's like, nah, can't do it?
Well, based on my military experience, I never got to talk to anybody like that. But but you don't know. So what? Hey, I did get to talk to a brigadier general one time, and that was because no. So we had played a joke on a guy, and new guy shows up, and we had sent him over to the next battalion to get, I don't know, like a can of squelch or something like that. I will just say can of squelch. And, it's obviously it doesn't exist. Squelch is the thing from the radio. So the static from the radio. Okay. So they sent him, somewhere else. And every time they sent him somewhere, they bumped him up the chain, someplace. So I happened to be they call it the guard of the day. So I was answering the phone at the company level that day. And the general, who's the division XO, is on the other end of the phone. And he says, I need to talk to someone who can tell me why Private so-and-so is standing in my office looking for a can of squelch.
And you were like, let me get you that person.
The poor guy.
Hey, Sanders, the journal.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I think his petition.
Secretary of the Navy is the guy that denied.
His petition went to the Secretary of Navy in order to have this appealed or reevaluated or something.
Yeah.
So we will see.
It's an interesting thing because, like, to some degree, you would think like the Navy would be like, hey, we're really proud of this guy getting an opportunity in the NFL. Yep. Let's give this dude his shot, and he can come do his service after. And at the same side, like I feel bad for the Secretary of the Navy. That's a tough decision to make.
Right.
Maybe Trump pardoned.
Well, oddly enough, this is part of a Trump rule from 2016 where he said that this is servicemen and women can do this to more frequent with more frequency, forego their tenure. So we'll see. It's interesting, worthy of follow. And I'll tell you this: he's a good follow on Instagram. He does I've been following him for the past week since I heard about him. He does every Thursday, he does like a 30-second kind of like a Bible study. Just a seems like a really cool dude.
Yeah.
We have an Instagram account. The Man Event Show. Yes. Yeah. The Man Event Show. We've got a TikTok. We've got a YouTube channel.
We have a TikTok?
Are you kidding me? TSG got us like 1 million views on a dog video.
Hey, Ed Reed, baby.
I'm pretty sure I don't have TikTok on my phone. So, anyways, listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Say it.
It is time. It is time for your favorite segment of the Man Event. Man, I just realized that bride goes in the water, some body of water.
You can't fix stupid.
Wow. That's a bad wedding day right there.
Clumsy.
What's the first one up?
So we've got two big videos for Can't Fix Stupid today. We're going to play them right now as we talk about them. The first one is this uncle who appears to be at a birthday party or something, dressed in a full Spider-Man suit, hood and everything. Decides he's going to jump in the pool and play around with the kids. Jumps in the pool. You can see him there swimming around. Can barely make it to the other end before he feels like he's about to drown. because the water is not moving through the mask like he thinks it should. And the kids, they don't know this, so they keep splashing. They're down there splashing. Look at him. And he gets out of the pool. He's dying. He literally is stressing about the breathing. Can't get the hood off. Nearly waterboards himself.
Oh my gosh!
It's a wonder this hasn't happened many, because I've seen other people doing this, not necessarily in the pool, but putting on the full, get up and doing silly things. It's a wonder this hasn't happened before.
I mean, can spiders swim?
I think spiders walk on water.
Well, they have like a water spider with the bubble, makes like a bubble and floats on top of the water.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he's some sort of a trap, like waits for mosquitoes or something, and I don't know. Does the deal.
That's pretty cool. So, dude nearly kills himself trying to impress a bunch of kids.
I mean, that
sounds like fatherhood to me.
Well, it sounds like he was doing something he thought was, a nice thing to do, and just could have ended up tragic. Luckily, he's not dead. Uncle Spidey.
Wow. Uncle Spidey.
And our second one is world famous quadrillionaire Mark Zuckerberg, head of Facebook, leader of the Vosselberg twins, throwing spears at a target. He's awful proud of himself. Look at this. He's like a foot away. He throws a couple of spears. He finally gets a bullseye, and he turns around with the creepiest smile. He turns around. He's like,
"What's up with the headphones, man? What's up with the headphones?"
Well, there's a lot of noise when you're throwing spears. Just go.
Dude, is he wearing Crocs? I think he's wearing Crocs.
Are they in 4-wheel drive?
The bullseye is enormous, by the way. I mean, this guy. Right? I mean, you cannot miss that.
So when you go and mark off your pace for, I'm sorry, Chief, go ahead.
I'm just saying it would be. I could throw that left-handed. It'd be a no doubter that I would hit that.
I've seen you throw a spear.
It hit. I've hit every Spartan we've ran. I've hit.
So when you
go
to
first throw,
maybe not on the first throw, but it's on a screen for a reason. But
when you set up your bullseye, right? You set it up, right? You turn around and you start to mark off your pace and decide how far you're going to go. Here we go. 1, 2. All right, I'm good. Here we go.
That's Zuckerberg. Like, why wouldn't you want to be as far back as possible to show off? I mean, that's
my other thing is, one, why from that close? One, why are you celebrating? And two, why are you posting it?
Right.
That's a bigger question. Why don't post that?
He is very proud of himself for making this toss.
Yeah.
So I harken back to a weekend or two ago when I took the wife axe throwing, and the cage is very limited as far as how deep back you can go. I would have gone another block if I could have, but they won't let you. There's like a line, there's a table, can't go past that. So it's just very very odd to see Zuckerberg.
You're saying that the axe throwing was too close?
Yeah, I mean, I could have used a little further back. I challenged myself a little bit. I'm not gonna call it easy, but it got a little bullseye.
Were you doing it like this?
No, I didn't want to kill anybody. It is an axe.
So was he wearing the headphones so he wouldn't have to hear all the trash talking behind him?
You think that's what it was? Or you think it was
I don't know.
The whoosh going by?
Yeah, it wasn't the whoosh. I saw him throw that thing.
I mean, if you're going to wear the headphones, why not also the safety goggles?
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Tell you what, he was
best. He should have had colors on. Big
he was not getting Brad Pitt's part in Troy. Remember that throw?
That's a good throw.
Yeah.
Was he wearing a skirt too? I don't know.
I don't know. All right,
but just the things that gazillionaires do when they're not, creating websites. That's just silly.
By the way, the Spider-Man thing. How else do you pick up babes at a birthday party? You know what I mean? You gotta put the suit on.
It was a kid's birthday party. TSG.
There's a lot of single moms.
Kids don't get to the pool party by themselves. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, we got a new segment, or we're debuting a new segment of the show, and cooking with Chef Javi. So we got an opportunity. One of our favorite chefs, Chef Javi, hooked us up with some tri-tip.
Nice. I'm hungry.
Let's take a look.
Let's go.
Take a look.
Cooking with Chef Javi. All right, man, event fans, we're going to introduce a brand new segment to the show. This is going to be Cooking with Javi. Let's welcome in Chef Javi.
Come on, Pooh.
What's up, buddy? Hey, so today Javi's going to cook for us a couple of tri-tip steaks. Tri-tip is a very little known steak, at least on the West Coast or in the South. It's very prominent out west. But today we're going to see Javi's secret of how he prepares. What we have, two
About 4 pounds each.
2 4-pound tri-tips. Let's do it.
We're gonna cook 2 tri-tips. I already trimmed most of the fat. My method for tri-tip today was I'm going to inject it with basically a beef broth solution. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, some beef broth, just a little bit of water because it gets a little thick. We're gonna use some Cajun seasoning. I got a steak seasoning with some coffee rub and basically just a standard all-purpose seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic powder. And we're gonna layer that pretty nice. I'm not gonna be scared of the seasoning today. I would compare it to brisket, but personally, the tri-tip to me is my favorite compared to the two reasons. One, it doesn't take as long to cook, and 2, it's almost as if you're eating a New York strip. So you're not sitting here waiting 6 to 12 hours on a brisket when I'm gonna do this in probably an hour and a half to medium rare, medium temp. We're gonna use my Camp Chef, which is a pellet grill. I'm gonna cook it at 225. It's gonna take probably about an hour. I wanna get my temp to about 130, the meat, and then from there I'm gonna transfer it to the gas grill just to do a reverse sear. I'm gonna use a steakhouse marinade just to kind of glaze it as I'm getting it to temp to about 135, 140 is kind of where I want my meat to be. And that's going to give it an extra level of flavor. So we're going to have 4 actually, excuse me. You're going to have the meat itself, you're going to have the injection, you're going to have the rubs, and then you're going to have a marinade glaze that's just going to be a little light on top, and that's going to give you 4 levels of flavor. Today I'm going to use the competition blend. It's Camp Chef's pellets. I actually went through several pellets. Camp Chef right now is my #1 pellet, and it's basically a cross with some apple, cherry, and some hickory. When you guys inject this, be careful, because when the pressure that you apply on the injecting gun will squirt out and squirt you in the face. It will do that.
Are you sharing this from experience?
Yes. All right, so now that we injected these, we're gonna go with our dry seasonings. I'm gonna start off with the all-purpose because it's more salt in this rub. So we want the salt to penetrate the meat. So don't be scared, because a lot of this is going to fall off anyways once the juices start flowing out. Then my second is going to be the coffee rub. This is going to give it that bold, distinct taste. It's not going to taste like a can of Folgers in your mouth, because there's other stuff in there. There's probably a little bit of brown sugar, some more salt, a little bit of garlic, pepper, so you don't have to worry about it, you know. Now, if you guys ever think that I put this in my Keurig and decided to make a cup of coffee, I did not. And then the Cajun seasoning, I like this because that's where my spice is. This is where the heat's gonna be, and I like that to be one of the first things I taste. To your likings, however much you want to put on it. Of course, you know, the more you put on, the spicier it'll be. Just flip it over. I always layer it the same way each side. All right, guys, so the meat's been resting or marinating for 15 minutes or so. The Camp Chef pellet grill is at 235, so we're gonna go ahead and take the tri-tips and get them to its home for the next hour. reached internal temperature, which is 130. I'm going to do a reverse sear on my gas grill, which I got that about 500. Put a little bit of sauce on them, and then we're going to let them rest. We're gonna put this on about 3 minutes each side, and then we're gonna let them rest. And I'm gonna put a little bit of some steakhouse marinade right there, and that's it. All right, guys, so we let it rest for about 15-20 minutes. Let's see what we got. I checked the temperatures. We're probably at a medium rare and a medium on this one. So let's do the medium rare first. Look at all the juices. We want to go against the grain. So I'm just going to go ahead and slice it down the middle. Let's see what we got. And that's medium, kind of medium rare. And that's it. We'll go ahead and slice it.
All right, so Chef Javi is done. He has prepared his 2 tri-tips. It is now time to sample this. Let's get it on. Chef Javi, what do you got for us, bud?
All right, guys. I cut 5 pieces of tri-tip. Go ahead, Boom.
Why 5?
Because I'm going to get one too.
No, you gotta get one.
Go ahead, Clifford.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, dude, why you picking the good one?
And they gave me the fatty one, and that's fine. So go ahead.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yep.
Dude,
That's on point.
Chef Javi.
Yep.
Wow. All right, so that's gonna do it for the first segment of Cooking with Chef Javi. Stay tuned for the next
Chef
one.
Javi.
Take care.
Nice job.
It's really good.
Dude, so we had that tri-tip for what? The NFC Championship?
Yes, that was an
Yes,
NFC
it was.
Championship.
Yeah. Dude, that tri-tip is hard to cook, man. I've had chewy tri-tip. I've had tri-tip that is not. It's just hard to eat, you know. But Javi, whatever he's doing, that thing's delicious.
It was
It was good. It was good. So good.
It's one of my favorite. Pro Pooh Bear tip. If you live near a Costco and you can find one, pick up their Morton Steakhouse tri-tip. It's already seasoned. Fantastic. It's what I always
Already
get.
seasoned out. Now, Chef Javi, he injected his.
He did the injection and
That's
and
a
did
pro
an initial
move.
seasoning. Yeah, so that's you gotta work up to that. You can't just start off with that.
Oh, okay.
Unless you watch this video. If you watch this video and follow his tips, then hey, you can start off with that.
Let's go pro.
Leave
But
us
if
a
you're lazy-
comment.
Yeah,
Leave
what
us
do you want to see next?
Yeah.
Because trust me, that man right there, there's nothing he can't. I've seen him cook cheese.
No,
He won't eat it.
He doesn't.
He
Cook
won't
beans
eat it.
either.
No, but I've seen him cook cheese. He won't eat cheese, but he'll cook it.
No, that's true, man.
But everything I've ever tasted that he's ever made, absolutely delicious. So let us know what you want to see him cook next. He'll walk you through it, show you how to do it. I'll cut it up and we'll put it in an episode just like this.
You know what I was just thinking of? One of my, I think he made it that same day. He had that like charcuterie board of just meats. There was no cheeses on it. You guys remember that? It was like, what all was on that? Do you remember?
Well, he had the one that's called the Three Little Piggies.
Right.
That's
That
the
was
one.
it.
And it actually made the Super Bowl vlog. So we can go back and watch that if you ever want to know exactly what was on that. That was in the Super Bowl vlog.
That was deliciousness. It was like little candied bacon, if I remember.
Yep.
And there was some burnt ends, I believe. Like there was all kinds of like whole sausages and stuff. Man, I love it.
5 different types of pig.
Man, he loves talking dirty to me now.
I know. I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry. All right, gentlemen. Chef Javi, thanks for the segment. Dude always brings the thunder, man. That dude can cook.
Doesn't he?
Yeah. If you remember from Chef Javi when we did the chicken wars, if you remember when asked why he was qualified to be a judge for the chicken wars, he said, because I can cook a chicken sandwich better than any of these.
He might be right.
He's probably right. He is probably right.
So given that we've done both of them, the spicy chicken sandwich and the normal Southern style chicken sandwich, maybe we should put the Chick-fil-A sandwich up against the Chef Javi sandwich.
Oh wow.
Blind taste test.
It would be
Yeah.
like beat Bobby Flay, except it'll be beat Chef Javi.
Or beat
Chef
the cow. You
Javi.
get a cow costume and do that.
Wow.
Beat the
You're
Chick-fil-A.
wearing it.
No, that's TSG's job.
Your idea. You wear
That's true. It is a new guy's
All the
job.
costumes.
It's a new guy's job. All right, listen, gentlemen. Your American League leading Tampa Bay Rays. They've slowed down a little bit. They're 500 in their last 8 games. Man, did you guys catch the game? Was it Wednesday night? The extra inning game, or was it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
It was Wednesday night. Yes. Dude, that was hard. That was a net. First inning, you're like, what is going on here? And then by the end of the first inning, you're like, we're back. Second inning, we're down. You're like, what? We just fought back. And it was like that the entire game until what, 11 innings?
I think
11 innings.
And the Rays were almost ran out of position players. They almost had to have pitchers play the outfield, which would have been a first for me. I've never seen that, other than, just goofing around. But I've never seen it because the team ran out of position players.
Wow.
Right.
Well, I mean, the frustrating part about those extra innings is we went up. We took a lead in all those extra innings and still lost the game.
Well, they tied it up to get to extra innings.
Right.
Yes. But I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm gonna make a bold statement. You guys can throw tomatoes at me if you want. I feel like we got the wrong guy closing.
Oh,
with Castillo?
Yeah,
yes,
we definitely have the
agree.
wrong guy closing.
He's not my favorite to watch. He throws way too many sliders into the dirt. I just can't. I can't. He's stressful.
You can't start a batter with a changeup because you're not changing anything. He hasn't seen anything yet. All you're doing at that point is lobbing a pitch out there. He's like, oh, 86. Look at this. That's great. And, you got to throw a changeup after he's seen something else. Yeah, exactly. And then as soon as a guy gets on base, he's done. I mean, he can't get that out of his head.
Yeah. He has a hard time working out of the stretch.
He can't do it. I mean, he can have 2 outs and he'll walk a guy and it's over. You might as well pull him right then.
Yeah. I'd rather see Fuzzywig out there or Fairbanks. I think Fairbanks is good. But, Nick Anderson is, not long for coming back. He'll be back soon, probably before the All-Star break or after the All-Star break. So, it may not be a long-term solution with Castillo. So let's hope that's what we're seeing.
It might be a great thing, because Anderson, when he comes back, last year, everyone pretty much believes that he lost a lot of his strength towards the end of the season, and that's why he had those problems. But now he's coming in, after the All-Star break. That may be great if, we make it into the playoffs and we've got him nice and strong throughout that whole period.
Yeah, he definitely tired toward the end of the last season. I think, that's part of what got him in the Game 6 of the World Series was he was fatigued, but yet Cash still went to him. So, anyway, I don't think Castillo. I still think he's going to be used in that position just because Cash likes him for whatever reason.
He makes it it makes a close game.
Yes, out of not a close game.
And when you look at the last 4 games, part of what made me think this is obviously he gave up the loss the other night in the 11th inning, right? Which I believe he gave up 2 runs that inning.
Yep,
2 runs.
Yeah, we had a 1-run lead, so all he had to do was close it out. But in the last 8 games of the 4 losses we have, 2 have been 1-run games, and 1 was the extra inning game. And those are close games those are the games that you have to finish to play in the World Series.
Yeah.
Those are the games where you miss the energy that Willie Adames brought to that dugout.
I don't know. Like his replacement isn't playing all that bad, man.
No, he's not playing bad.
And the guy who's coming behind that guy had back-to-back home runs this week. Back-to-back games of home runs.
all I'm thinking about is the infield that Durham must have had with Taylor Walls, Wander Franco, Vidal Brujan, and not Nate Lowe's brother, but Derek Lowe at first base, who hit a walk-off last night. I mean, that infield must have just been a terror in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Because Wander is just going crazy. Vidal Brujan was the player of the month in the minor leagues. He'll probably be up before Wander. Brandon Lau, I like the guy. He makes a lot of money. He's seems like a good dude, but he needs to watch his back, essentially.
Yeah. Well, we're going to catch a break here over the next couple of days because Baltimore is coming to town.
Hopefully, by the time this airs, there is a Rays sweep over Baltimore. It really should be.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. So guys, kind of closing out the show here a little bit, a couple of just special interest stories. Any of you catch the news? It came out actually today. Today's Friday that we're recording this. A cruise ship full of fully vaccinated passengers who also had to provide a negative COVID test within 72 hours of embarking is having a COVID outbreak.
Well, there was two people tested positive. Is that necessarily?
It's an outbreak, Pooh Bear. It's an outbreak. Ask Dr. Fauci. That is an outbreak.
Oh, yeah, interesting how that happened, right? And I still believe. I'm wondering if these are false negatives or false positives. Are they? Have they run through the not just the nasal swab, but the more advanced tests? The brain peeling.
The brain.
Dude, I think some of these people had to be tested with that Johnson & Johnson garbage vaccine. It's only 60% effective under best case scenario. That's not a good vaccine. I mean, it's what we had at the time, but people need to stop using that thing. If you are, 60%, if I remember, was a D in high school. I mean,
yes,
that's
I was an
good.
F in high school. 60 was an F in high school.
60 was an F. So,
I never saw grades that high.
I never saw grades that low. I don't really know.
I never saw them that high.
Never saw them
Yeah,
that
that was a D. That was a D, Chief.
It was a D.
Oh, so it's passing. These passing. It's good. We're good.
It's a quite popular.
It's one and done. That's why people like
That's
it.
why.
That's why they like it. It's not a good vaccine. So if let's just say half that cruise ship, let's just say that everyone on the cruise ship had been vaccinated by Johnson & Johnson, that means best case scenario, only 60% are really, going to be effective against it. So I'm not surprised if that's how this rolled out. Even then, Pfizer and Moderna are in the low 90s. Just to shout out to Stock Medic because he was talking about Novavax a couple of weeks ago, and that thing has shown some promise. If you guys haven't seen it, I've been following it. That's coming around the corner here.
I've been following it with my wallet.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of following.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
So I think the question on the cruise ship is, how did it get there? So if you have all these folks
that's
who are
the question.
If you have all these folks who are vaccinated and they were all tested and they all tested negative prior to boarding, and the crew, I'm assuming, has already been vaccinated and tested and probably can't leave the ship. They probably have restrictions on them. Where did this come from?
So our viewer, one, it had to be a negative test 72 hours before, right?
Correct.
Right. So then there's that little buffer there of exposure before they get on the ship. That all thousands of those people
have you could have went to Arby's, gotten a ham and cheese sandwich, and got COVID from the waitress.
Right. If you're going to Arby's, you're gonna get the Arby's melt and a Jamocha shake.
Right.
Jamocha shake
with a little COVID. I mean, and then so and just so our viewers know, we all understand how the vaccines work. It doesn't, they work to make sure that the severity of the symptoms, don't kill you. We understand that you can still get COVID even if you are vaccinated. We understand that. But it is supposed to be, at least in the Moderna and Pfizer world, a lot harder, kind of rare for someone to get COVID, especially a severe case of it, like almost no chance for that. But like Chief said, maybe this Johnson & Johnson was the reason that it was able to sneak in, But,
could be. Just very interesting to watch and follow up on as we go through this social experiment of the post-COVID pandemic.
So I was on the boat last year when this all went down, like when it took off in the beginning of COVID. I was on the boat telling my wife there's problems in America, like this is legit. And she's telling me, no, you're, like every nurse, you're like, did you die? That's how nurses are.
Did you die?
But did you die? So, and I'm like, no, this is different. And sure enough, she's like, holy cow, this is craziness. We're watching the news. And we're like, oh my God, this is really legit. And everything changed on the boat. I mean, gloves, they're squirting you with stuff. I mean, one lady hit me in the side of the face with the
Hand
help me.
sanitizer.
The hand sanitizer. It's every room that you go to, they're holding it for you, going here. And like the perfume lady in the mall, you're like, come here. You know what I mean? But imagine being on a cruise ship and then all this changes again. All of a sudden, you're like, come on, not again.
Yeah. I mean, here's the crazy thing is obviously things are opening back up. I mean, the Chief and I are going on vacation this week. I had face-to-face meetings this week with my leadership team for the first time in 16 months. People are getting out there. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. They said that, a lot of people were interested that, coming out of Memorial Day weekend, what kind of spikes could we have seen? So, we'll see what happens. But I would say that that's probably not good for the cruise industry. So as our good friend, the stock medic would say, buy the dip.
Buy the dip.
So I'll be looking out for that.
Hey, Chief, put the box on roulette for me.
Red or black?
Well, if you see a bunch of reds in a row, like do me a favor. If you see a bunch of reds in a row,
you want us to have a strategy? It's a simple red or black.
I know it. But he's got a whole system. I tell you all about it. We got a long plane ride.
So, okay. I'm looking forward to it. Then roulette's my game.
All right.
So last thing, did you guys see the story this week? A Virginia family finds bags of money, $1 million, in the road and turns it in.
Wow.
Now, we debated about having this. We debated about having this as a "you can't fix stupid" segment, right? But we turned it more into "what would you do?"
Yeah, but they weren't just like bags in the road. They were bags in a rural road, nobody else around. There was a car that swerved to miss it because it looked like trash. They picked it up. They got it to the house. They got it home. And they're looking at it and they're like, hey, man, look at this. There's $1 million here. This is fantastic. And then they turn it in. I get that cash to the house, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't see any of those die packs. I don't see any of the bugs or not bugs as in like transistor things.
And you're thinking to yourself, Novavax purchase.
Dude, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to go hide this someplace right now, man.
Oh, man. I'm thinking to myself, Joe Pesci's on his way with the ballpoint pen to stab me in the neck and take my money. That's what I'm thinking.
That's why you don't hide it in your house. Hide it, somewhere else. But
and you don't say a word to anyone. Nobody.
I think I'm taking
You suddenly just don't work overtime anymore.
I'm taking it back.
You're taking it back.
So, Poobah, you're saying you take the money back.
Okay, so here's the thing. What if you find what if some of those bills are numbered and you start spending them on whatever? You're being careful. You only spend a little bit at a time. 7-Eleven, Lowe's.
You didn't steal it.
And then
I don't know. Time out.
Yes, you did.
First of all, the stock medic is going to show me how to convert this to Bitcoin.
Yeah. Okay. So you do that by taking the actual physical cash to a physical bank and saying, "Hi, teller lady, please take this and turn it in." Yeah. In the meantime, that bill gets run. That camera says, "Oh, this was you. It went to your account. You're now arrested for trying to pass off this money that was stolen."
That's why you take it to a real casino and trade it for chips first. But hey, how about this?
Again, cameras.
So how about this? You pick up 2 bags and you turn them into the cops, and the cops say, "Where are the other 2 bags? There were 4." Now, the guy that came along in front of you picked up, he doesn't believe you. The same way he's not going to believe you if you pick up one bag. If you say, hey,
dash cam doesn't lie.
Here's the bag I found. The dash cam, man.
My dash cam shows the 2 bags in the road.
What
I turned them in. I did my civic duty.
Pooh Bear is big brother, man. This dude's talking about cameras here, cameras there.
That's how this all starts. Everybody thinks they're able to pass this stuff off, but that kind of stuff is what gets you in further and deeper trouble.
Let me ask you this: is the money insured? I mean,
we don't know. I can assure you, it's not yours.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
What it is now.
It's on a public road, and it's standing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, if I found money in your house, Pooh Bear, if I found money in your house laying on the floor, I'm bringing it to you. I'm like, hey, man, I found money in your house because I know you, and I know that it's not my money, and I know it came from somebody in this house.
Understood.
I mean, how are you going to trace it? And people are going to lie. Mailman.
I don't know.
Dude,
I don't know.
Stand there on the road asking, who does this belong to? Whose bags of money is this? I'll be happy to give it back. Nobody?
Yeah.
All right. Don't say anything if it's yours. I mean, say something if it's yours. All right.
Speak up.
So I don't know. It just seems that amount of money isn't going to be missed easily. Somebody knows it's missing. They know it was a mistake. Sure, it may have fallen off a truck, and it's all innocent. And maybe it's somebody. Maybe it's Mark Zuckerberg's before he's throwing spears. He lost it, and he's never going to miss it. But more than likely, it belongs to a business, probably a small business, who may not be able to afford to lose that kind of money and will now go bankrupt because you were selfish.
I don't know what small business you know of has got $1 million.
Slightly bigger than small. I don't. Maybe those returns from a previous night. Maybe they made a big deal. I don't know. Maybe it's smart. Maybe it was stolen.
Here's hoping that the Chief and I make it back from Vegas with bags of money. How about that?
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have to call him Saint Pooh Bear from here on out, man. Saint Pooh Bear.
I'm sorry. I don't want that kind of heat on me. If it was $30 you find on the road, sure, keep it. Nobody's gonna miss that. Whatever.
Hey, I found a money that was wrapped, on the flat sides. Okay. And it was a rubber band together. It was in a guy's pocket. He had been in a knife fight. He's dead. The other guy who was in the knife fight is dead. We were trying to save his life at this point. But anyway, so now he doesn't survive, and we find this in his pants. And my partner and I, we look at each other, and dude, I'm telling you, I don't know how much money that you can wrap flat like that in a circle with a rubber band, but I'm gonna say a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at each other. And we were like, there's the only people that know that this money's here are me and him and that guy. He's not telling anybody. But I knew this. There had just been a knife fight that 2 people died over, and that money may have had something to do with it.
Uh-huh.
So we were
big worms come and look for it.
Yeah, we were in the back of the ambulance with it, and we both of us carried it to the deputy that was on the scene. And we said, look, we're going to give this to you. And I'm going to have that deputy over there, have him witness it that we gave this to you, because whatever this is about, we don't want anything to do with this. So in that instance, we did give it back on a rural road in the middle of nowhere that I got. Yep. I already got it to my house.
People have knife fights.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, machete.
Dude, that's the machete fights.
I was on a. I mean, I can describe a call, right, Chief? Like, just not. There's no information. I mean, you're talking about machete to the head, to the ear.
Yeah, we can use our imagination after that.
It was like Peter cut the guy's ear off in the garden.
Yeah. Less saintly though. Less Pooh Bearish, I should say.
Hey, wasn't there a lady recently that found $1 million in her bank account by accident and spent it and had to pay it back?
I did hear a story similar to that, but that's a different story because they're going to trace that. They're going to trace that. You're not going to trace you on a rural road in the middle of Virginia.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You may find it.
Listen,
anyway.
It's time.
That's it.
It's time for B-Love and the Chief to check out. Vacation starts now.
Let's do it. I got my
All
hat
right.
ready.
That's it. If you made it this far in the video, you're a loyal fan. Thanks a lot. Make sure you subscribe, like this channel, like this video, so we can make more videos.
Chief owes me money. My battery made it.
Oh,
Boom.
we will be
Send me my
back doing
comeback.
this hopefully live next Sunday at 7 p.m. where you can interact with us and we'll have a good time then. Until then, we're gone. Say goodnight, Chief.
Good night.